Hello, we're here again. We've made it to episode 10 of the Two Sheds Review podcast. So, thanks for sticking with me and all that. How long have I been doing this now? I don't know. I mean, how long have we been in lockdown? I have no idea. I mean, there are times when I genuinely forget what day it is. It's Friday today, I think, isn't it? Anyway, there is a slight change of plan for this podcast. I'll be just telling you about that in a couple of minutes. Until then, here's one of those nice jingles that I keep forcing on you. Well, this week I had intended to bring you another of my outside broadcast things. The idea being that when the easing of lockdown restrictions again, I'd go out and around town and to see what the so-called new normal was like. So I recorded a few things, but in total they came to about 7 or 8 minutes. And I quickly came to the conclusion that the new normal was more or less the same as the other normal that we'd been having for the past few months, with the exception that with the exception that there were a few more shops open, but there were a few things I noticed, and a couple of things that happened, as it were. I mean, for instance, as I was walking into town, there's these two young lads who were walking behind me, and rather than step out into the road when they overtook me, they crossed the road to the other path. And you know, I held my hand up to them to acknowledge what they'd done and thanked them. And they told me that was actually the first time that someone had thanked them for being for observing the social distancing rules. So I don't know who you two were, but you're probably not going to listen to this anymore. But thanks again for that. Like I said, a lot more shops were open, but I noticed none of the charity shops were open. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling is that. That could be because a lot of the volunteers who work in charity shops do come from a certain age group, and you know, they're either shielding or, you know, taking the advice to stay at home and all that stuff. And my final stop was at Morrison's. Now, what I saw there did actually surprise me quite a lot. I mean, if you've been there recently, you'd know that they set up a queuing system, you know, so to you know, for the social distancing and all that, and all the staff were wearing PPE of one sort or another, be them masks or gloves or both or whatever. That has all stopped by. But from what I could see, none of the staff were wearing masks. None of the staff were wearing gloves, and the queuing system has stopped completely. I don't know. Maybe it's because I went up there on a Tuesday afternoon, and it maybe they just put it in again, you know, for the weekend. But you know, my brother said that when he went up last Friday, it was like that then as well. So you know, maybe it's not. Maybe they're just doing it all the time. Maybe they've tried to go back to normal. Which, you know, I know we live in a part of the world here in the east of England which has the has the lowest R rate, or whatever you call it. But it still does seem a bit surprising that they've relaxed a lot of their measures. I mean, if it wasn't for a bloke sitting by the door offering you hand sanitizer and wipes for your trolley and all that when you go in, you'd probably think that there was nothing wrong. Like I said, I found that quite surprising.
Enough said.
Now I'd like to talk about a matter of quite a sensitive nature. This is actually about the third or fourth time I've recorded this particular piece. I'm going to take you back to last Wednesday, and mention the name of an American independent professional wrestler, a chap by the name of David Starr. I don't know the man, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'd never heard of him until the story broke on Wednesday. The story is that his ex-girlfriend has accused him of rape, amongst other things. It's an allegation that he denies. But since that time, Twitter in particular and social media generally have kind of exploded with other allegations made towards people in the professional wrestling business, particularly here in jolly old Britain. A few of the people I'm just trying to find the right words to I'm just trying to gather my thoughts here. A few of the accused are currently under contract to WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, as part of their NXT UK brand. Now there's countless allegations going about on especially on Twitter at the moment, under the speaking out hashtag. Some of those accused, I'm not friendly with them, but I have met some of them. Some of the others, I've reviewed some of their matches in the past, and some, I don't know much about. And basically, it's a bit of a dark day for the British wrestling business. It really is. And it's British wrestling business is being portrayed as being quite sleazy now, and with female wrestlers making allegations of sexual misconduct to quite a few people. And without wanting to sound too heartless or anything, I've heard stories over the years about things that people have done nothing on this level, and I was in the business myself for a few years, but I never witnessed anything like this. Like I said, I heard stories, but nothing like this at all. And to the women and to everyone who sort of like stood up and who have told their stories, you have my utmost admiration, because it took a hell of a lot of courage to make these stories public. You have my utmost respect. And if I could organise a clap for carers type thing for you people, I would. But like I said, one of the things I've read, it's things about how the British wrestling business needs to police itself more, and I agree with that entirely. But I really can't see that happening. I really can't. Because during my brief time in the wrestling business many years ago, I heard things, and I saw things happening, particularly one instant in Blackburn. I won't go into details. And I heard promoters saying that, you know, they should police themselves, and people involved in this sort of thing, they shouldn't get work elsewhere, and promoters should get together and stop using the people who did the things that I witnessed and the other things. But it never happened. You know, as far as I know, some of the people who did some of the things I saw and I heard about are still working in the business today. But like I said, it was nothing like the allegations that have come out in the past few days. I have seen some things where, you know, promoters have made public statements saying that they're not going to use the wrestlers that are alleged to have committed these dirty deeds. But I just get the horrible feeling that this whole thing will blow over. You know, the allegations will stop, and when professional wrestling business finally returns to normality, you know, these people they'll start getting work again. Frankly, I think that's bloody disgusting. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first got into the wrestling business all those years ago, back in 2001, it was kind of like a dream come true for me. It really was. You know, I'd watched wrestling since, well, for as long as I could remember. I'd sort of like studied the goings on, as it were, and it was kind of like a dream job come true for me. But after a few years, you know, I just got fed up with the whole bloody thing. I really did. And like I said, I don't want to sound too heartless or anything, but I really wasn't surprised with some of the things that I've heard about. They are shocking. You know, some of the stories I've heard are shocking, and they are quite upsetting and very emotional. And like I said before, my heart goes out to everyone who's had to go through some of the things that I've read. But at the end of the day, I wonder, will anything actually be done? I really hope it does, and I really hope that you know the British wrestling business gets its house in order, as it were, and deals with the people who have done these bloody awful things. I really do. But I doubt if it will happen. You know, there's been some saying that those making the allegations should take their cases to the police, and and some are saying, innocent until proven guilty and all that stuff. But well, it just seems like. Also, I've got to add, some wrestling companies are remaining silent about the whole thing, and there's someone in particular which has got quite a bit of coverage over the past few years, just seems to have made a complete fuck up, pardon my language there, of the whole thing with the way that they've handled it. But I don't think there will ever come a time when this sort of thing doesn't happen in the wrestling business. And I'm not talking about, the sexual abuse. I'm talking about the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the bullying. There is a bit of a bullying culture in the wrestling business. And, I'm not going to liken what I've experienced personally with what these women are going through. But I don't think there's going to come a time when any form of abuse in the wrestling business will be stopped. It's tolerated, and I think it will go on, and I think that's the real sad thing. Like I said, I've experienced some of the verbal and emotional abuse myself. I'm not going to name names here, but it's nothing compared. Like I said, nothing compared to what the brave men and women that are coming forward have gone through. I mean, it really is no laughing matter, people, and I really hope it's dealt with. And I really hope that the victims and the survivors in this get the help and support that they need, and that they're able to work through their problems and come through it stronger for it. So if any of them are listening to this now, I wish you all the best. I really do. And I do hope that those accused, if they are found guilty, they get what they deserve. Even if it means that, even if it's just that they just can't work in the wrestling business anymore.
Excuse me, what happened if you mash this button? What do it do? Oh, Lord. Ooh. Oh, Lord. Oh, good.
So as you may have seen over the past few days, football has returned. Has returned to England with the return of the Premier League. Beginning with the game between Aston Villa and Sheffield United this past Wednesday. There's no crowds in the stadium for obvious reasons, and I've watched a couple of the games and watched bits of other games as well. Some of the players looked in top form, but some of them looked quite, ring rusty, as it were. One thing I didn't really get into though was the option for the simulated crowd noise that Sky Sports are offering. I can see why this is on offer, but just didn't do it for me. I tried it for a few minutes, and I like to see or hear a crowd react to what's going on the pitch, and for obvious reasons you just don't get that simulated crowd noise. But one thing that I did find quite pleasing and quite heartening was the beginning of the Villa Sheffield United game, when the players and the officials took the knee, as it were. Took the knee in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. And, I have to admit, I found that, quite uplifting, quite emotional as well. What was all the crap that's been going on in the past few weeks. And then the following day, we had the Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab basically putting his foot in it and not getting what it was about, thinking it was something to do with Game of Thrones. Now, while I commend Mr. Raab for watching a quality television show, the best television shows of the past 10 years or so, or perhaps even of the 21st century so far, I can't commend him for what he said. It's like, haven't you been seeing what's been going on in the past few weeks? He took a lot of plaudits when he stepped in when Boris Johnson had to go into hospital to fight coronavirus. But he kind of washed all that away with this one stupid comment he made during a radio interview. But now with football back, it remains to be seen, how the other sports are going to go. I know golf is back, but frankly, golf is bloody boring, and I don't bother with that anyway. I suppose the next thing I'll be looking forward to, I think it's around about July the 8th or something like that, is the return of cricket to this country. The domestic county season has a provisional starting date of August sometime. That's not been confirmed, but everyone thinks it'll be in August sometime. It'll remain to be seen, you know, how that will play out, how they're going to do things. But before that, we've got the Test series between the West Indies and England. So there's a few West Indian players who haven't made the trip, and you know that's perfectly understandable. But you have to commend the guys for coming over to make this trip. The one notable absence from this upcoming Test series is the ICC's ban on using saliva to shine up a cricket ball. You know, to get it to swing or move through the air. Or I'm not sure of the exact physics of how it all works. They're now only allowed to use sweat to shine up the ball. You know, because they can't use saliva because of, you know, for the coronavirus reasons. But makes me wonder, you know, as I was, you know, thinking about what to say for this bit, when I began to think of that, it makes me wonder what part of his body is Jimmy Anderson going to rub the ball on, and where is he going to get this sweat from? Hopefully that won't end up on the next instalment of Cricket's Funniest Moments. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey everybody, here's Warner Mac.
I'm standing in the kitchen and the lightning just hit the door. Opening a Coke and the water is creeping through the floor. Taking a sip and the wind blew the roof away. Oh golly, oh gee, oh me, it's a beautiful day. Things go better with Coca-Cola. Things go better with Coke. Life is really fun when you're refreshed, and Coke refreshes you best. Yes sir, Coke has a taste you never get tired of. Coke after Coke. So an ice cold bottle of Coke kinda helps you say, oh golly, oh gee, oh me, it's a beautiful day. Things go better with Coca-Cola. Things go better with Coke.
Have you noticed? You hear something new at fountains today. People who think young say, Pepsi, please.
The lively crowd today agree. Those who think young say Pepsi, please. They pick the right one, the modern light one. Now it's Pepsi for those who think young. When you say Pepsi, please, you're putting yourself among people who like their leisure. With Pepsi, the drink that's young. So go ahead and pick the drink that lets you drink young as you think. Yes, get the right one, the modern light one. Now it's Pepsi for those who think young.
Charge! Get going again with the Dr. Pepper difference. See what the difference does for you. Why repeat? Drink a bite to eat. At 10, 2, and 4, you always want more, more, more. Not a cola, no, not a cola, but a blend of deep fruit flavors. going again with the Dr. Pepper difference. Charge, get going again with the Dr. Pepper difference. Charge.
Well, that's a lot for episode 10 of the Two Sheds Review podcast. As far as the outside broadcasting Cromer thing again, I think I might leave that a couple of weeks, maybe till the first week of July. See how things are going, see how Cromer is doing with the lockdown restrictions being eased. Who knows, by then they may be eased a little more, and a few of the other shops and cafes and pubs and that, will be open. Don't forget to check out my blog at twoshedsreview.blogspot.com. Should perhaps mention that this month is also the 20th anniversary of my blog. It's when my first wrestling article was published online, so maybe you can seek that out and give an opinion or something. And also don't forget to keep an eye on my YouTube page at youtube.com/2sheds316. I do promise, I will eventually get around to uploading these old podcasts to there, so you can see a picture while you're listening to my dulcet tones. Anyway, stay safe and all that, and remember to maintain social distancing, although most of you probably bloody won't. Anyway, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you for episode 11. Bye.
That's all, folks.
Required monthly test of the emergency alert system originating from the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, Harrisburg, satellite uplink truck number 3. This is only a test.